Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is the final chapter of the Stuck Together miniseries, part 14. Enjoy! Do you need any more information? Hawks asked the boss. Or should I just stop there? I have heard enough, the boss said, his lips pressing into a straight line as he clenched his jaw and determined his next move. Heavy breathing from him and the soft crying from Manihara echoed off the blunt office walls as the boss's mind ticked over everything. What do you want, Hawks? He then asked through gritted teeth. He had been deceived. He had been used, and worst of all, it had all been exposed. I told you already. Have the rules annulled, Hawks said firmly. One more thing. Consider this my resignation letter. You won't talk of this to anyone, will you? The boss asked, finally clicking into subservience. Tell me what you want for your silence on this. All I ask is that you change the rules back and that you let Yin go as well. I'll be taking her with me, Hawk said. So you are dating? Manihara finally blurted out. Yeah, we are. I'll be making it common knowledge now. As for when we started dating, it was before the rules were changed, he stated, staring directly at the boss. I don't care anymore, the boss said angrily. Consider the rules annulled. I will change it in the paperwork now. Hawks nodded and turned to the door. As for you and Manihara, I will not speak a word, just do the right thing, he said as he left, closing the door on the two. We are over, the boss said in a stern voice as he left Manihara at her desk. Clear your things and prepare to leave. I no longer want you working here. And then he left too, leaving her sobbing in her office. A very happy Hawk skipped the last little way to your office and poked his head through the door, grinning from ear to ear with childlike excitement. Yes, Mr. Suspicious, how can I help you? You asked the self-proud Hawks. We will be allowed to announce that we're dating soon, and in a few more weeks you'll be coming with me to my own agency, he announced. What? What? You asked, standing up and walking over to him. What do you mean? It's a long story, but I don't think staying here is going to do either of us any favours. Just quietly, I don't like how the people at the top conduct themselves, and I think I could do a much better job. And by that I mean sit in my office with you in my lap while I tell others what to do. Why doesn't that surprise me? You reached up and slung your arms around his neck and pushed your body into his as his hands grabbed for your waist to hold you there. Because we're birds of a feather, he replied, earning himself a smack on the side of his head from you. The rules were revoked very quickly, as the very next day a notice was placed on the message board stating that the ban had been removed. The boss couldn't look anyone in the eye, so opted to do it this way rather than hold a meeting and risk being drilled. Manihara never came back to work, and you were sure that she had told a lie to those closest to her, seeing as the talk was that she went on stress leave because of work. You and Hawks announced your relationship at the end of that week, and on the same day he asked you to move in with him. At first you were hesitant, but then conceded, as financially it was the best thing to do, considering you were both going to leave your current agency and venture out on your own. Boxes and more boxes, you moaned as you stepped into Hawks's apartment and saw all of your boxes, some of which hadn't even been opened, at your new place, stacked to the roof in his lounge. I brought in extra help if we need it, he asked upon hearing your grumbling. Oh, where? You asked, turning to face him. Here. He deployed some feathers and sent them to lift some boxes. You just give directions and I'll do the rest. Well, that's very handy, you mused, watching the boxes float before you. Over the next hour you directed Hawks on where to put the boxes, and although it hadn't helped in the unpacking itself, it certainly made the place look a lot neater. So, where are you thinking of setting up your agency? You asked him as you started unpacking your clothes from the box and putting them in his closet. I was thinking at the other end of town. Saw a building for sale there a while back. Wouldn't it be sold by now? You asked, stacking your tops neatly in the drawer. Only one way to find out. Want to take a night flight with me? Okay, he replied with a grin. After unpacking a few more boxes, you and Hawks left hand in hand to go and check out this building to see if it would suit for a good place to start an agency. The town was always so beautiful at night, with all of its flashing and shining lights, and you smiled as you glided silently overhead, still holding Hawks's hand. He was watching you from the corner of his eye, the way the lights danced on your face and the way the wind swirled your hair off your features so that he could get a good look at you made his heart ache with love. Would now be too soon to propose? He wondered as you flew together. I don't want to rush things, but I don't want to wait either. Soon enough you were at the destination, and with a gentle flap of your wings you touched down on the front of the vacant building that still had the for sale sign on the front door. Oh, it's still for sale, you said excitedly. Hawks watched as you walked around, peering in the windows to see inside while you chatted away about different things. You know, I think you're cute, but you're extra cute when you're like this, he said, grabbing your arm as you went to move past him to see in another window. You weren't really paying him attention, so he grabbed your arm to stop you so that you would at least look at him. Finally you did, your eyes shining with excitement. And before he could stop himself, the words had just left his lips. "Marry me," he said to you, out the front of the vacant building. "Marry me, Yin." It took you by surprise, so you didn't answer at first, just blinking your eyes at him until your mouth caught up with your brain. Wait, Please. Say yes and think later. It doesn't have to be anytime soon. We don't have to get married tomorrow, just say you'll be mine forever. In your heart of hearts, you knew that you and Hawks would be together forever. He completed you. He understood you. He was everything that you were looking for in a man. "Yes," you breathed out, still staring up into his eyes. His mouth met yours the second after you had agreed to marry him, like if you hadn't replied in the next second that he would have kissed the answer out of you. And that's where you stood, pressed together out the front of the vacant building at the other end of town, kissing to seal your promise to be married. A new life and a new start awaited you both. It was true. You are now, well and truly, stuck together. And there ends Stuck Together. I didn't want all of my miniseries, or books for that matter, to all follow the same vein of them ending up married and so on and so forth. So I'm trying to vary it a bit. But I think Hawks and Yin in this series just needed to get together officially. And it was just perfectly suited. Next up, tomorrow, we have a Villain Kirishima miniseries, 10 parts. Just something to give you a little taste of life with the villain version of our innocent Sharky. So I'll see you tomorrow for part 1.